Hi everybody, how's it going? I am going to be giving my research presentation for the 3D design research project today. I decided to go with topic number 3, which was to choose a designed object or thing and look at its impact in contemporary design. So, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about rope, its history, materials, and implementations. So, as I just mentioned, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about these things. The history of rope over its existence, all the different types of materials that rope has been made out of and is still made out of today, and how its creation process has changed and how it still kind of works today. I'm also going to go over how many different uses rope has had over its existence, because believe me, it's quite a few. And I'm also going to talk about how we use rope today, not just in like a general sense, but also looking at things like art and design. So firstly, I'm going to talk about how rope is not a new thing. Rope has been around for a long, long time, and I'm sure you guys have seen rope at some point during your lives. Whether, dog toys or tire swings or hardware stores, you've seen rope, you know what it is. However, according to RopeSource's website, there is fossil evidence of rope dating all the way back to 17,000 BC, and it was probably created by braiding or twisting vines together. There weren't really any tools, however, until about 4000 BC when Egypt started making rope-making tools to create the rope, and they used some different materials. They used grass, parts of water reeds, animal hair, and even fibers from date palms, flax, papyrus, and leather to create rope. So even back then, rope was made with a lot of different things, and there was some technology as far as making it. However, things really started to change when China started making rope out of hemp fibers around 2800 BC, and from here it would spread throughout Europe as well as the rest of Asia, and it would continue to develop into what we know as rope today. And I'm going to talk about how that's developed over time as well. So for photo examples of ancient rope, this is the only one that I could find. I'm very sorry for the picture quality. It was not great when I was trying to find this. But this is actually ancient Egyptian rope. This was found, this is rope dating back thousands and thousands of years, and it was on an Egyptian shipwreck, if I'm remembering correctly. But this is just kind of how ancient rope looked. It doesn't look too much different than what we look at rope now today. But the creation processes have changed, and I'm going to talk about that. So rope was originally made by taking whatever material, whether it was vines or grass or whatever fibers you're using, and twisting that material together into strands. And then once you had a few of those strands, you would take those strands and you would twist them again into each other and create actual rope that we know. Technology for rope making wasn't really considered advanced until about the medieval era, where rope walks were used. These were wooden machines that I'm going to show you guys in the next couple slides how they kind of work. They're quite dangerous, as people would make rope from hemp. It was quite common after China introduced it. And the dust that would come off of the hemp was very flammable, so the walks would often catch fire. But these rope walks were mostly used for the creation of ships, as rope walks allowed these extremely long ropes to be made for the first time, and in quite a quick manner compared to how they used to be made by hand. According to Encyclopedia, the name rope walk was actually derived from the rope maker, called a spinner, who would have to physically walk backwards and allow the ropes to be turned by a spinning wheel, and I'll show you guys a diagram of that. And then in the 1800s, cord braiding machines were created, and they allowed high volumes of braided rope to be created in a quick manner. These machines were often used for things like small cords and laces. So these are some photos of rope walks and how they work. So firstly, this is a more modern rope walk, but basically you can kind of see there is somebody actually walking backwards with the rope to have it turn. And on the diagram on the right, you guys can see the different stages of how a rope walk functions. The first step is they would put the yarns in these chambers and attach them to hooks on the end. And then somebody would turn a crank so that in stage 2, it would twist the yarns that have been put in the machine into strands. And then once again, it was twisted into rope through the same process of turning it. So one person would walk backwards with the rope walk, and the other person would turn the crank, and it would be able to make rope just by twisting it by machine. And then, according to Low Tech Magazine, 19th century Europe and North America kind of changed things again. They opted for tropical fibers, such as manila, which are the leaves of an abaca plant, coir, I think is how you pronounce this, which is made out of coconut shell. There's also sisal, henequen, and then for softer ropes, they went with stuff like cotton and jute. They weren't very durable compared to the other fibers, but they still were used. And they swapped these things out for things like hemp or flax. Now, as you guys have seen quite around, ropes are made out of things that are more synthetic, which we were able to get from refined oil back in the 50s. And there's even rope made out of steel wire for things such as elevators, cranes, and suspension bridges, because we need a rope to be able to hold things and lift it and just keep things really strong. So steel wire has been a really cool thing that rope has been turned into now, or has been made from, I should say. So here's some photo examples of current rope. These shouldn't surprise you too much. Nylon rope is probably the most common type of rope that's around now. And then there's also a picture on the left of steel wire that has been turned into rope. And if you look at the nylon on the right, you can see that this is actually 12-strand rope, which is awesome because we've seen the technology just change from the 3 strands that were back in the rope walk all the way to 12 now. So technology has definitely still changed with rope making, but the general process has been the same. So now I'm going to talk about how rope has a lot of uses and functions. As previously stated, I've talked about how ropes have been used in making ships, laces, and holding up suspension bridges, but there were a lot of other things that ropes were used for, as well as knots that people made with them. Knots and rope kind of go together as the same technology, because you kind of can't have one without the other. According to Low Tech Magazine, a lot of uses for rope have included things that we still kind of use rope for now, like hauling and lifting things. But there were other uses as well. This one surprised me a lot. Record keeping. Supposedly, back in like ancient times, they would tie knots to keep records of certain things, which I thought that was really cool. But there's also other uses that were even in the prehistoric era, such as helping with hunting and climbing. These were just, very common things, but back then it was very helpful for them. However, synthetic materials such as nylon and other types of rope that are more common now, they allowed for stronger ropes to be made for things that we still do today, like people will go mountaineering, fishing, and then rope used in hot air balloons. That's one of the things that I kind of forgot about when I was looking through this, is that rope is used in hot air balloons. And that's one of the things that the new synthetic ropes allow for. So rope, however, doesn't necessarily have to be used for these practical things. People are and always will be creative, as we have been in class, and thus there have been a lot of art pieces and designs that have been made with rope, which I thought this was really cool. In fact, there are even art exhibits structured around specifically rope art, such as Unbound Contemporary Rope Art from HighfieldHallAndGardens.org, or specific pieces such as Cyclotrauma 80 from artist Janena Mello Landini. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some of these pieces. So this is from the Unbound exhibit. Now, I couldn't find individual artist names on the website, so I'm sorry about that, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys how versatile rope can be as far as art and design goes. We have things like the bottom left, where you can really get emphasis on form, and it really kind of makes the whole form pop with the different weaving in and out and the curves. And then you have something just a bit more simple in the bottom right, which just kind of looks like coiled rope that's been spiraled around into one big piece. My favorite one, however, has to be the top middle, where you just have all these intricate ropes that have been tied and weaved together into this beautiful piece. And it just goes to show you just how versatile this material is in design. You can really emphasize different ways of form, you can implement color. There's just a lot of really cool things you can do with this material in art. And then these are from Janena Mello Landini. This is on the left Cyclotrauma 78, and then on the right Cyclotrauma 80. I really love how these pieces, they're just beautiful. They look natural and organic, even though they're just made out of rope. I love the way that they're kind of just weaved outward into small tree branches, and it just really goes to show you just how crazy and all the different things you can do with this material. I especially love Cyclotrauma 80 on the right. I love the radial design of the whole thing, and I just love how you can kind of see it pop out towards where the individual strands branch out from. I just think it looks really cool. But this goes to show that you can do a lot of neat stuff, even in art and design, with rope as a material and a medium. So just to recap, so rope may seem like it's a mundane material, but as you've seen, it has an extensive history. It has many uses and purposes, especially when taking knots into account, and it's still relevant today, whether in construction, recreational use, or even in art and design, as I've shown you. And then just some final thoughts. Rope may seem like a commonplace and simple material, but it has been important in design for a long time, whether it's been engineering or now even artistic things, and it's changed a lot to meet new ideas and demands, and I think it will continue to, as it's quite useful. This material has been used for such a long time, I don't think we're going to be getting rid of it anytime soon, and I just feel like the technology is just going to get more and more advanced as we progress. So here's my sources. I've also showed some of the photo sources more in the slides themselves where I could fit them, but otherwise these are the other sources that I've used. And then I just wanted to throw in a little message at the end, guys. I hope all of you are staying well and safe during this time, and if I don't get the chance to see you guys again before the semester ends, I wish all of you guys well. I wish you success in your future endeavors. It's been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun in class. We just been kind of silly and just getting to make a bunch of cool stuff together, and I hope to see you guys all again. But if I don't, take care, and thank you guys for listening to my presentation today.